Frozen warthogs. Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm not even sure where to start with that. There's parts of this, like, he looks too much like Dave. I mean, it made me laugh out loud.
Yes, the unexpected humor.
But then you get this line about poison in our minds, and suddenly it's not so funny anymore, is it?
It's a very fascinating blend of humor and unease, isn't it? And that seems to be a key characteristic of this kind of poetry, at least to me.
Yeah. This definitely feels like what they call found poetry, where someone takes these everyday kind of mundane bits of text and somehow twists them into something, I don't know, poetic. It's like those poems you see made out of spam emails or something. Is that what we're dealing with here? Is there like some kind of rule book for this type of writing?
You're on the right track. Found poetry really does use existing text, often completely out of context, to create something entirely new. And the beauty of it, no rule book. Meaning is fluid. It's open to your interpretation based on the emotions and the images the words evoke in you.
So anything goes. Which makes this line about Dade even more interesting. Because it's hilarious, don't get me wrong. But it also feels almost menacing when it's just kind of dangling there, out of context.
Yeah.
Is that intentional?
Absolutely. That's what makes this piece so compelling, I think. It actually reminds me of how author's name uses names in their books, almost stripping them of meaning to highlight the absurdity of, like, social interactions.
Right.
But here, in this case, it also creates this really unsettling undercurrent.
There's a darkness there. It is funny. There's no doubt about that. But there's also this sense of disquiet. I don't know, like there's poison in our minds line. That's not just a throwaway joke, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the famous mockingbird, whatever that means.
Right.
Glued together. It's like the poem is tapping into something darker, more surreal. What do you make of those parts?
You've hit on something really crucial, the surrealism. It's like the mundane, the everyday grime in the sink, right, is colliding head on with these bizarre, almost dreamlike images.
It's like that feeling when you wake up from a weird dream and you're trying to remember like what was chasing you,
Exactly. This juxtaposition, it suggests that the speaker might be grappling with an internal struggle, a sort of poison affecting their whole perception of the world.
And the mockingbird, it comes up a few times. Is that significant? I feel like I should know this. Is that a symbol for something?
You're right to notice that. The mockingbird is a loaded symbol. It can be interpreted in so many ways. Often it represents mimicry, borrowed voices.
Okay.
Perhaps the poet is alluding to feeling like a fraud, or to the way we construct our identities from these little fragments of other people.
And then there's Colonel Forbin, of course.
Yeah.
And his trusty McGrupp. It's like a Monty Python sketch just wandered into a poem. Is the author just messing with us at this point?
Huh. Well, there's definitely a playful, absurdist element to it, you're right. But even in that absurdity, there might be a deeper critique hidden beneath the surface. It's like they're referencing something else, some shared cultural touchstone, but it's not clear what. Like, is this Rutherford supposed to make us think of Ernest Rutherford, the whole atom guy? Is it a sly comment on science versus the natural world? It's left intentionally ambiguous.
It's like the poet is leaving us these little breadcrumbs, but they don't necessarily lead anywhere. So what do you think, dear listener? I mean, really, did this strange little poem make you feel something? Did you find yourself dissecting each line, trying to crack the code, find the hidden message? Or did you just kind of let the strangeness wash over you?
You know, there's no right or wrong answer here. Even without clear-cut answers, the act of engaging with art like this, challenging art, it expands our thinking. It makes us question our assumptions about language and meaning and how those two things intersect. And I think that's the beauty of a piece like Pasted Text. It's a reminder that art doesn't always have to be neat and tidy and easy to digest. Sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from embracing the strange, the ambiguous, the downright bizarre. And with that, this deep dive leaves us with a question. If we can find beauty and meaning in a jumbled collaged poem titled Pasted Text, then what other hidden gems are waiting to be discovered in the world around us, just outside the realm of what we typically consider art?